Okay, we good?
You're good.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to officially call this May 15th meeting of the Vernon City Council to order. And the first item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. And the ladies have heard us that we're good with the agenda as presented. Is that correct? Ladies, you're okay? I'll take accept the motion.
So moved.
I will second.
Move and second to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to communications. Wish to address the city council on subjects pertaining to today's meeting agenda. Please wait until that item, until that part of the agenda. But if you wish to address city council on other items, you're welcome to step forward.
All right.
Introductions and titles.
You betcha.
Kathy, if you can just push the button, the light should turn green.
Okay. I'm Kathy Boggs. I'm the Public Library Director at Cole Library. And Jen Sanderson and I are here to talk with you about the story walk that we are going to be implementing starting Wednesday. Jen talked with me and we found a sponsor in Hills Bay, and she's going to explain what a story walk is, and you'll be able to do that with your families this summer. You betcha. So, a story walk, I don't know if you've all seen, but Lisbon Library for years has had a story walk out on Lisbon Road, starting I think in their downtown area and then stretching all the way to the gazebo. I am the new teacher librarian at the middle school and high school, and in my old position, the public library and I collaborated on creating a story walk in that community. And so when I moved back to working in our community here at Mount Vernon, I just knew that I wanted to contact Kathy to get one of these going here in our community. So if you're not familiar with a story walk, what it is you take a book, 2 copies of the book actually, and you disassemble it from its cover, and you spread it out on signs like this along a walking trail or in a park or someplace where you think families would safely enjoy it. And the idea is that you go on a walk to encourage physical exercise and activity, also to draw more usage of our city streets, our city parks, our city sidewalks, and walking trails. So all of those things, and then also supporting family literacy. I think just putting out the story itself supports family literacy, but then also when you combine it with some open-ended questions, you encourage interaction, you encourage conversations over literature between parents and children. You also provide parents and grown-ups with an opportunity to see a good model of that interaction around the story, which I think is also beneficial to family literacy and growing love of reading. So our first story that we are going to feature is our local author, Jacqueline Briggs Martin. And I'll go ahead and you guys can pass that around. So of course we're excited to have a local author featured. And the story walk is going to go from the nature park up to Skate Hill Park, which there is a little creek along that. And this story is a nonfiction book about an Iowan, a fellow Iowan, who brought a creek back to life on a farm field that he purchased up in northeast Iowa, I believe. So, yeah, and then we have 3 plans for 3 other books that we'll do in different locations around the city. So we're kind of spreading it around and giving visibility to our different parks and our different walking paths and things like that. So this is our fall book. It's a cute little one, which we thought might work well at the Memorial Park, because there are lots of trees with lots of different types of leaves. This is our August one. If you are familiar with Mo Willems' books, they're wildly popular with kids, and this is his most recent one, which is about going back to school. So that's perfect for back to school time. So that's that one. And then in the spring, again, we'll do Little Owl Walks by Chris Houghton, and his books are just fabulous. He has very iconic illustrations, and in my read alouds, the kids love these, and I think Kathy would echo that too. So that is our plan. Do you guys have questions?
Well, now I know what those signs were. I remember seeing them on Lisbon Road
Yes,
and
yeah.
wondering what it was all about.
And I did talk with Chris before we made this a reality, so
We are not renegades, just kidding. The renegade librarian.
You say, of the various renegade options, I think we could get behind.
And there, obviously there is some landscaping, some maintenance, it does provide a roadblock of sorts for our city crews, and so we thank you for letting us create that roadblock. I think it's well worth the little extra investment of time in mowing around them for our kids. So
Who's gonna put them up? Did I miss that, Jen?
Kathy and I are gonna do that on Wednesday. So they're just garage sale sign, garage sale type signs. They have that H metal support, like they're nice and heavy duty metal. And so I think they'll hold up.
Well,
Great, thank you for your creativity, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, and again, this is so Mount Vernon.
Yep.
Say it before, say it again.
Yeah, what a great idea. Thank you.
Any other comments for public comment time? Otherwise, I think we'll move to the consent agenda. Two items with minutes and a cigarette license. Questions, or ready to move forward on that?
I would move to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Craig.
You're good.
Stephanie? Move and second to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving to resolutions, we've got 4. First one is a no parking zone. Have that explanation from Chief Shannon.
You bet. Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Thought I took care of this last year, but looking back after I got the complaint from the same person again this year, realized that last year we put out temporary signs in preparation to bring it forward and just never got it back up in front of council. What we're experiencing is baseball season at Cornell. We're getting vehicles that park all the way back to the raised median of 8th Avenue, causing people difficulty maneuvering through the quiet zone median from that standpoint. So we are proposing, took a look at the area, and basically from the Cornell sidewalk on the west side of the street, from there to First Street is permit parking only for the most part in that area. We're just looking to make it no parking from that sidewalk all the way through the quiet zone area to that first residence on the north side of the tracks, to their south edge of their driveway, to open up that space and make sure it doesn't get blocked.
Makes a lot of sense. I would move to approve resolution 5-15-2023A.
Thank you, Craig. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And Scott. And that resolution needs a roll call vote.
West,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
That was quick. Moving on to the next 3. G2, first of all, is depository of public funds with Hills Bank and Trust. And is that the one that you noted the signatures?
Yeah,
Steph?
the 4 names, I don't think are correct, because Lori's not on it. She's on
No,
number 2. Am I wrong?
no, you're correct. So
Okay.
the other 2 have Lori, and I've taken Sue off, and that one I just, so they will resemble the other 2.
So can we just move to approve
With the changes,
515
yes.
2023B with the amendment that Sue
Yes.
would be replaced by Lori?
Yep.
Okay. So
That's
moved.
Scott's motion, okay.
I will second.
Change that step.
Change the titles, just not.
So with that one adjustment, we're ready to vote on that roll call, if you're ready, Marcia.
Rose,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
Motion carries. G3, same process, Bridge Community Bank.
I will move to approve resolution 5-15-2023C to establish depositories of public funds with community bank.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Stephanie Craig. Motion on the floor. Need a resolution approval. Ready for the roll call vote.
Engel,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Motion carries. G4, establishing depository public funds with Mount Vernon Bank and Trust.
I would move to approve resolution 5-15-2023D.
Thank you, Craig. Second.
I will second.
Craig and Stephanie. Motion on the floor for approval. We're ready for the votes.
Rose,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to J, motion for approval, claims list. I don't think I saw an adjusted one this afternoon, did I?
Yes.
Yeah,
it
it was.
It was early this afternoon, very late morning. Okay.
No. Any
It looked a
questions?
little shorter than some of them.
I would move approval of the claims list as presented.
Thank you, Scott.
Second.
Scott and Stephanie. The motion on the floor for approval of the claims list. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to consideration of Tahoe medical truck for the fire department. Council action as needed.
So, this comes out of their actual CIP levy, which has plenty of money. This is a CIP expense that we expected. We're still talking to the county fire district about the potential purchase. We need to make the purchase anyway. The question is, do they put any money towards this one, or do they wait and put money towards a larger purchase here in the future? Really makes no difference to us, one way or the other. So, seeking approval. As you can see, we went to Carl Chevrolet. This has more to do with necessity and who's got things available. So the rollout will be just over $65,000. So
Is this a replacement, Chris?
it is a replacement.
So are we gonna sell the old?
We will go ahead and probably put it on Gov Deals. It's not in very good shape. I mean, it's kind of like our police squad cars, they get driven hard. So,
And that $20,000 enhancement package is not something you can just remove and put on somebody else. Okay. Lord's what,
well, and more so, I think, there's more opportunity when we do police because the turnover is about every 5 years with those. But for fire, they tend to be much longer.
because they're not driven every day,
No.
24/7.
So,
And I know ambulance service has gotten at least a couple of those SUVs. I mean, we reuse them in any number of different ways.
Good. That's your third vehicle, right? Third vehicle.
So our SUV is our first. That was the squad car the council donated to us as a proof of concept. We actually just voted to purchase one as well from ambulance CIP. So we'll be kind of getting both getting one this summer. So.
What's the will of the council here?
I would move approval of the purchase of the Tahoe for the fire department in the total of, for the total of $65,831.07.
Thank you, Scott. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Craig. Motion on the floor to approve the purchase from Carl Chevrolet for the Tahoe. If there are no other questions, we're ready to vote on it. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. J3, consideration of purchasing a mile-per-hour Speed Scout trailer.
yeah, we get requests quite a bit from the community for a couple of reasons. One, they think people are speeding or going much faster than what they actually are, so we use this, deploy this to show that that's not happening as much as they think it is. And we do deploy it as somewhat of a deterrent. When it starts flashing that, people are not sure whether or not it's issuing tickets or not, so.
And that's always an option to add on.
Yeah. The best part about this though is,
Say, when you stop getting grants, you get direct grants, then maybe we're gonna resort to that for the resources.
It might be a new revenue source.
so the best part about this, obviously, for, an $8,000 unit, we're getting it for
Yeah.
2 with the grant, so.
In all seriousness, Doug, for you and your team, congratulations on another grant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is GTSB has been very good to us. They generally equip our squad cars with our cameras. We have one sitting on the floor of my office waiting for a squad car that's been sitting there since about August, October maybe, somewhere in that time frame. I've got another one on order for a squad car we haven't ordered yet. And so this was a great opportunity for us. We've already got the covert, we can do the speed study with a covert box. And we've got these signs out on Business 30 by the golf course, you've seen them out
Yeah.
there. So it's gonna bring a portable unit in that we can deploy anywhere, and it'll increase the awareness for little cost for us. I think it's a great addition to our flock of stuff we got.
Doug, I'm curious to know, what are your thoughts on where you would put it?
That's the great thing about this, it's going to be portable. We're gonna put it where it'll move frequently.
Yeah.
I can see in the beginning of the school time, maybe in August when school starts up, it's probably gonna be around Palisades Road, it might be on Fifth Avenue, it's gonna be in different locations like that. We get a lot of complaints on 10th Avenue. I think the first place it'll probably go is right in front of the police department on Mount Vernon Road, which I've told Chris is a great spot for a camera as well. And then,
I thought that was a takeoff script.
yeah. Many people do.
Just you hit the bridge and you go downhill.
Yeah. But honestly, we can, wherever we need to, or the public works wants to do a traffic study, we can deploy this and gather the data.
Yeah.
It'll collect everything we need for, volume of traffic, days and times, general speed travels and everything else, so we can make more informed decisions even on
So
changes.
it's far more than just a
Flashing number.
that you're doing
So
42 and
it's-
35.
It's saving all that data.
If you've remembered, I think we've shared some of the reports before from the current speed study thing we have. It's pretty much the same system, it just comes with a digital sign now so everybody else can see it. But we'll get that type of a report from that'll show us, we can break down violations by time, date, and everything else, day of the week, time of the day, and then volume of traffic for, how many cars.
So
are
it
doing-
tracks regardless of violation?
Correct.
So just sheer number?
Yep, yep, correct.
As a thought, Doug, if it's not too much work, and I'm not trying to create work, when you do your monthly reports, maybe put in some of that data.
Sure.
Right? Should this be approved, which I hope is.
Did I read correctly in here that it has both battery and solar options?
Correct.
And we do have the solar option included in
Correct.
this 8,000?
Yep.
Okay. Then unless there are other questions or concerns, I would move approval of the MPH Speed Scout trailer in the total of $8,063.
Thank you, Scott. Is there a second?
Second?
Steph? Motion on the floor is to approve the purchase of the MPH Speed Scout trailer. All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Burn permit for the golf course, who suffered more tree damage than they had since the rain show, is what I heard.
Yeah, that storm that came up through Sylvan and clipped Lisbon actually kind of went through Carnoustie and hit the cemetery in Carnoustie, but
How it visit my house, I don't know.
yeah, really, it's kind of crazy the path that it ended up taking, but because it was a disaster under our code, the fire chief can sign off on a burn permit. This is a 1 month burn permit, so this isn't like he gets to do it throughout the summer type of deal, but we're still dealing with derecho debris, so I would, at this point, rather burn if we can.
County doesn't need to sign off on it.
The county does, but we go through all this paperwork, and the county will want to make sure that the council is aware of the actual burn.
And so beyond us potentially approving this and then whatever the county looks for, is, on the back end then, is the fire department made aware, like what's the?
Yeah, so Nate is the issuing officer for the city.
Okay.
And he has signed off on this already. There's parameters that he puts in front of it, obviously, if we get into a red flag scenario, then the burn permit is no longer valid.
And it's got to be X number of yards
Yeah.
from.
And there's wind restrictions on it as well,
All right.
and then when he chooses to burn, they're supposed to call our dispatch center and let them know
Okay.
that we're
All right.
lighting it up today, and so they don't get inundated with calls.
Smoke people are. Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Good. Well, I will move to approve the proposed burn permit for Carnoustie Golf Course.
Thanks, Scott.
I'll second that.
Great. Move to second, move forward with that burn permit. No other questions? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Moving on to fire alarm system quote for the police station. Chief, anything more to add? Comments?
Nothing other than as we were going through and working on our audio, video stuff and looking at the improvements we've made, I had talked to Chris about the possibility or desirability of the city to put in some type of fire protection system. just to, in case, because it's a remote and with the renovations that we're making and stuff like that. So I did ask for 2 quotes. I asked for another vendor to provide a quote that I have never received, even after multiple emails to them to try to get that to us. So this is the one quote we've got. That they bid on another project, and we're very competitive on that. So
$34,571.66.
Your recommendation about the fire alarm system for the police station? The comments? We're ready to move forward with the motion?
I would move to approve the consideration of the fire alarm system quote for the police station.
Thank you, Craig.
I'll second.
Scott. Move second to move forward for the fire alarm system quote for the police station. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On that same vein, AV and control system quote for the police station. Chief Shannon.
So we did receive 2 quotes, one from Hawkeye, which is the
Just
the
approved.
fire, and the second was from RC Tech, who has done a majority of the other locations so far. In this instance, RC Tech is slightly more expensive, about $4,500 more expensive.
Yeah, my only question here was, since we're using Hawkeye to do the fire alarm, was there any consideration, I know Doug, you were recommending RC Tech, and I wouldn't go against that necessarily, but was there any consideration of tacking on these 2 together, and maybe having some cost savings?
So I don't think we're going to, I mean, the bids are what they're going to be from that standpoint. I had approached RC Tech about this as well, knowing, you know, the biggest concern I had was just familiarity with staff. RC Tech did this system in here. They've done stuff at the fire station and stuff like that. So there is value that, like, we know what the same, hopefully they're set up the same. So if a meeting gets moved out to the police station that this one's occupied, they're familiar with how to run the system instead of having a different one from there. They're both very similar systems, as far as I can tell. Other than maybe different brands of equipment, but they're all 75-inch TVs going through that standpoint as well. So one thing I did tell Chris is we know RC Tech's reputation. We've worked with them on their service calls. They've been responsive to us from that standpoint. This will be our first project with Hawkeye Fire, or Hawkeye on theirs. Again, I have little doubt that they're going to do a good job. I have no feedback that they wouldn't, but it is an unknown from that standpoint.
We give local Mount Vernon-Lisbon 5%. This is closer to 10%, but from staff's perspective, just what Chief Shannon said, obviously, we've used them, we know what to expect. However, in saying that, you can't say anything negative about Hawkeye as well, so.
It's just an unknown.
Yeah.
It's not a.
They're gonna have the fire alarm system, so in that regard, we're going to be dealing with them in the future as well. But from a consistency on AV equipment, yeah, I would recommend staying with RC Tech just to maintain that consistency. We do make sure after one failed scenario to not buy proprietary items, so that we're not stuck regardless of what we do.
Got a recommendation from staff about moving forward with this AV and systems control for the police station. What is the vote of the council? Move forward.
I would move approval following staff recommendations to go forward with the RC Tech quote submitted in the amount of $44,059.09.
Thank you, Scott. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, staff. Moved and seconded to move forward with RC Tech for the AV and control system quotes for the police station. We're ready to vote on that. All in favor of that motion, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving to discussion consideration of Grunwald, Dowell, Keene and Company for audit services. We've got a document
Yeah,
in front
so
of
I
us.
did give you the document tonight. Basically, what I was concerned with was the very last page.
Yeah.
The Exhibit A had a 3-year, basically, quote in there, and I don't have anything negative to say with Vernon-Lisbon. They did what they were supposed to do. They didn't necessarily wow me in that regard. So I'm not anxious to give anybody a 3-year commitment unless they were over the top great.
They're not requiring the 3-year commitment, are they?
No, they are not. So that was the, we received email confirmation from them today that they are not requiring the 3-year commitment. So what I'm looking at doing is giving them another year to see if the service gets any better, and if not, you know, we do have Clifton that we can fall back to. So from that respect, I would go ahead and make recommendations to move forward with the auditing services this year.
Cost is pretty much the same as it was last year?
Yeah.
They had a 3.5% increase, whatever this is, 3.5%.
Correct.
For staff recommendation about auditing firm here. Where it all is.
Yeah, I would move approval of moving forward with Vernon for our auditing services.
Thank you, Scott. Second.
Second.
Greg.
Are we gonna, do we need to clarify that it's for 1 year? Or
No, I clarified in an email.
Okay.
So
Okay.
my recommendation is for 1 year, and we have that commission.
Good question, Stephanie. The motion on the floor to approve the consideration of Vernon-Lisbon Company for audit services. We're ready to vote on that. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to Brad Haig, CPA proposal for accounting services.
So Brad is kind of our jack of all trades CPA. He looks at our monthly reconciliation, he helps us with tip reports, and he also puts together the state forms for the budget annually. It's probably grossly overpaid at $7,400 for the service that he provides, but
I think underpaid.
underpaid.
Okay.
Yeah, not overpaid.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's a turnaround from last year.
Grossly underpaid for what it is he does for us. And I will say that it's probably going to be even more important this year, given the House file 718 or 781 that was approved. That changes property tax collection, so.
And he's been working with us for
Yes.
as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
So, okay. And similar costs.
Okay.
Yep.
I will move to approve the proposal for Mr. Haig at the amount of $7,400.
Send that. Ben Craig. Motion on the floor to continue with Brad Haig as our CPA. Ready to vote on that? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Change order number 2, police station renovations.
So this has already been completed, but this change order is in the amount of $6,471.37. This occurred when they were saw cutting through the concrete floor, which we knew had the potential to happen because there wasn't, even with the plans that we were given, a good roadmap of where everything was. So they made some additions and things like that. So unfortunately, the power was cut and needed to be reconnected, so.
Need to be done.
Yeah.
In that case, I would move approval of change order number 2 in the amount of $6,471.37.
Thank you, Scott. And is there a second?
Yes, second.
Moved and seconded to approve change order number 2 on the police station. Ready to vote on that? All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The application number 3 on the public works cold storage. Moving quickly up there.
there's actual buildings.
Yeah, so the second building is going up much faster than the first, but this pay application is in the amount of $47,323.30.
I would, yeah, I'd move approval of pay application number 3 in the amount of $47,323.30.
I will second.
Scott and Craig there. Keeping the process moving. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The application number 5 on police station renovation. Council action as needed.
This is in the amount of $76,912, and supposedly this week, they are supposed to be pouring that floor back. So, knock on wood, hopefully that will happen Wednesday, Thursday of this week.
Okay. I would move to approve the pay application number 5 for the police station.
Great.
I will second.
Second. Motion on the floor to approve the pay application number 5 for the police station renovation. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Police reports, beginning with the police report. Thank you for yours, Chief Shannon.
Yeah, the only thing I would add in addition to that was Chalk the Walk was great for us. We had our typical festival Highway 1 parkers for some reason. So I gave Matt some feedback, make sure we put no temporary signs up. I don't know why we need to do that on a state highway, but apparently we do frequently. So just everything else went great. It was a good venue and a lot of people in town, so nice job, Matt.
So we don't have, because I was sitting at the back of the local when Officer Gerke had to deal with that scenario, and I'm sure at other times, but I just was there for the one. And we don't have any permanent no parking on that side, like that second downhill northern side of that block.
I think in the 200 block there was.
In the 200 there is, I can see
yeah.
it from where, but not on that,
But
because you've got like the office, like the pet salon and whatever on the uphill side, and then.
a lot of this comes back to you're parking on a state highway.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
Traveled part of a state, I mean, it's a
Right.
state road from that standpoint, so some signage would be, but I'm assuming we'll probably have to go through the state to get approval
Okay.
because it's a state highway.
Sure.
So,
We have handicap parking on the pet salon side,
Mhm.
and then on the nursing route side as well. I mean, that section
Okay.
is our handicap parking that we put there signs.
Mhm.
But the other two sides that you're speaking of, we don't have signage.
Yeah. I was just surprised that there wasn't a permanent
yeah,
no parking on that downhill.
Yeah. but I would I agree. I think instead of dealing with temporary signs all the time, that we reach out to, I'll reach out to the state, or I'll work with Eldon, and we'll reach out to them and see if we can get some signage there as well.
Thanks for your report, Chief.
Mhm.
Public Works, Eldon. Lowering corn streets, trees are getting planted. What's going on?
Things are happening.
Done with leaves for a while.
Did you have a field trip today down at the shop? Down at the wastewater plant? There was a school bus there. Maybe that was just a golf club that decided to park in your spot.
I think there was, actually, because I,
Oh, at the park?
because Donnie took the day off in case his daughter was doing, and I couldn't remember exactly what that was, but I think that is what he told me. So, yeah.
Once again, Eldon, pictures are worth 1,000 words.
Especially
It's great.
especially the crater.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
We get somebody's attention.
The frog.
The frog
I
is my favorite.
That was
The
an awful
baby
laugh.
geese.
It's really cute.
The baby geese.
That
Well-
aquatic life is great at the pond, so.
Nice job, Eldon.
Seriously, it's great.
I said it as I came in, but my favorite line in the entire packet is in Eldon's. The new furniture has been installed in the council chambers. The rest of this is
Awesome.
cool and all, but that was
Safety is a
where I took
priority.
that, Yeah.
You're not falling backwards in your chairs.
Yeah, yeah.
On the side. Any further questions of Eldon? Otherwise, Parks and Rec report?
Just another fantastic shot to walk, and you know, from top to bottom, parking issues aside, just well done. Thank you.
Here.
Yeah.
How did it go? I can't remember, Matt, did Chocolate Walk stop at 5? Because obviously the storm hit at 5:15.
It was
Yeah,
supposed to stop at 6.
Yeah,
That
we're
tear
supposed to start at 6. So it's 10 to 6 every Saturday and 10 to 6 on Sunday.
Okay.
The voting takes place at between 4 and 4:30. Not the voting, I'm sorry, the announcements of the awards takes between 4 and 4:30, so we got that started at about 4 o'clock. I got a phone call from Officer Gerke saying there's a strong cell coming about 45 minutes away, about 4:30-ish. So we tore down that entire festival in an hour and a half. That usually takes us 3 hours.
Well, I'm glad everybody was safe, and it was a great event. And
The John Deere does handle hail really well. Let me say that.
You know, just as an aside, I was watching on the TV, and Channel 9 obviously has all of these sky cams all over eastern Iowa. And they have a beautiful one in Mount Vernon on the bank that they never once showed, but I wanted to see how the cleanup was going. I was thinking,
But they kept doing it as a precursor to the event, which was great.
Yeah,
Talks
that's a great
about coming, yeah. Yeah.
And I may have missed it in previous reports. Have we gotten a pool report from last season yet?
No.
Okay.
Park and Rec Board has just reviewed that last meeting,
Okay.
so I can bring that to you.
Thank you.
One of the things to note on, since you brought up the pool, Southeast Lynn is out $1,700 short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give or take, on monies that we give and they give out in scholarships. So Matt asked me today if the city is interested in giving another contribution in that dollar amount. And basically, we give the contribution, it comes back to us in the form of payment. It's just, before we expend those funds, just wanted to make sure. I'm exactly sure I'm gonna find it, but we can.
And these are for the,
That's
Scholarships for the
That's a
pool
scholarship.
passes.
passes. So the number of applicants has far
Yeah.
exceeded what it ever has.
Yeah. 64 families right now have asked or requested, and that's far more than we've had in the past.
Yeah, because I think it was, used to be around
I feel like
30,
20s or
Yeah.
something.
25 or 30.
Yeah, 35, I think has been as high as 35
Yeah.
maybe. So Southeast Lynn was just coming up with ways to try and raise funds. They have not only city funds, but they have other avenues they can pursue as well. I think there's a couple of foundations that have donated to them in some good dollar amounts, but it's just not enough. So they were reaching back out to see if there was a way, either one, and they have a meeting tomorrow night, I believe, a board meeting tomorrow night, Stephanie might know, to discuss ways of fundraising for that, so.
So, yeah.
Oh, one other thing, the volunteer fair, how did that go? I liked the idea.
Lukewarm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was a great idea, there was a lot of great organizations there, and just the number of people that came through the door to be a part of it was minimal.
Okay.
But we were excited to try it again,
Yep.
to try and maybe find a different time. It's Mother's Day weekend.
yeah, I
Nice
wonder if we
out.
don't do it in the winter
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, we talked about that, so
Yeah.
we'd like to do it again. I think all the organizations were very favorable of it, because they're all in one house.
Yeah,
But it just was a hard weekend. It was a morning, 10 to noon, soccer games going on, a lot of stuff going
and
on.
the weather
so.
just gotten better.
The weather was
after being
nice,
crappy.
yeah, so.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're considering doing it again.
Yeah, don't
I
give
like
up
the
on it.
idea.
It was a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, we had, and the people that were there were quality people that were looking to give back to the community, so it wasn't like just, people were just walking in or pulling them off the street or whatever to go through it. They were there for a reason
Right.
and looking at different organizations and talking to them, so I think it's well worth us trying it again.
Let's go back to the funding
Yeah.
for Southeast Lynn. Chris, are you saying that, were you suggesting the city do something about that, or are we waiting to see what happens with Southeast Lynn's meeting tomorrow?
I think what we would do is let Southeast Lynn continue to fundraise with the knowledge that if you see a $1,700 expenditure, you know
Okay,
why it would be forthcoming. So my hope is they're able to provide some more contributions. However, should they not?
mhm.
Summer includes 2 of our fiscal years, correct?
Yes.
And so if we had some money left, we wouldn't have to do a one lump sum. We could do, say, a little seed money for them in May, June to get them started, and then if they still need it, use next year's money.
Yeah, they have, we put money into this quite a bit. It's just, we'll be talking about this at the LBC as well at some point. But it's just, as Matt kind of alluded on, it's almost twice the number of people
Yeah.
seeking them.
The hardest part is the passes are usually purchased in June, because they need to be, you know, they want to be used in June. So that's the hardest part right now, is to try and raise enough funds to accommodate those families that did not get a pass currently.
The good news is that I know that when Southeast Lynn has reached out to people, especially when there's something as tangible
Very
as
good.
that, they're usually pretty successful. So I
Yeah.
would see
Yeah.
what happens with it, but I'd fully support, supporting it if we needed to.
You could hear which way we're leaning on that.
I think so. Thank you.
Comment that Chris got from Joe Jennison the day after Chocolate Walk was that the businesses downtown, it was like best business day ever as far as volume.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I guess it's a community building, it's a great for all of Alberta, but for those businesses, it's a big day for them, so.
And Sola still thinks that I chair that committee, because every time I see her, which I haven't done for a decade, I think. And every time I see her, she tells me, this chocolate walk was even better than last time. And like, I know, so.
The old Scott Rose.
Scott didn't screw it up.
I never, that's what I worry about, is, something happens.
Yeah, I would say,
Get a phone call.
I don't know if it's just the fact that everybody is anxious and ready for festival season to get started, but both days that I was up there were a number of people frequenting businesses.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Me too.
So,
Scott, it's not too late to volunteer to be a part of that committee.
Volunteer fair is over, but.
I know the volunteer fair, I gotta make it up next time.
Joe said he has like 29 committees that needs a chair, so if he pick one.
I'll get right on it.
Anything else from Matt's questions here? Moving on to goal setting. Continuation of the previous discussion regarding the goal setting proposals. You need to make a decision pretty soon, or?
I'd like to, I will say that Elizabeth reaches out to me every other week or so, just wanting to know if she kind of made a decision moving forward, and so she's anxious to probably find out, but I wanted to give everybody time to kind of mull this over. I am realizing that it's more money. I am rather interested in seeing what Elizabeth would see differently. I have absolutely nothing bad to say about Pat in this process. It's just maybe a fresh perspective might challenge staff just a little bit more.
Well, it would, and I'm the rookie here, not sat through it, but my comment was 2 weeks ago, her proposal was more for long-range strategic planning, is what it's looked like, as opposed to just annual planning. And if indeed, because our discussion 2 weeks ago continued on to whether or not we want to look at our long-range plan as a city at some point here in the near future, which would be a different exercise with different objectives and things like that, that we might want to hire somebody from the outside. And if we test Elizabeth out for this annual planning, we like her style and how she moves forward, we could use her for long-range planning in a year or two.
Yep.
So it'll be a way to test her out.
As I've been thinking about this, I keep going back to the sessions, Chris, that you ran following the derecho, when you met down here with staff, and then met again with council and elected. And I really, because I came to the staff one and just was a little fly on the wall in the back, and appreciated the different view, everybody had gone through the same thing, basically, but coming from entirely different points of view. And so that's, as I've been thinking about this, that keeps coming to my mind, so I would, it sounds like I agree with Greg on which way to go on that.
Yeah, and this will happen probably in the summer, fall, just to get into next fiscal year anyway, but, I can go either way. I have the utmost respect for both of them. They both have high energy, and I think we would be absolutely in good hands with either group, but sometimes having a fresh perspective helps us kind of think outside of the box and
I agree.
It would be a matter of decision there. I'll just go along with the vote majority, so that's fine. I think we have where we're going there. Okay. Moving to reports. First one's mayor report. I guess I'll just mention that Memorial Day, I'll make a few comments at the cemetery. And was a trails meeting on Thursday? Can't remember where.
Thursday at 6 o'clock
Yep.
at the LBC.
That's about all I have. Any council committee reports? Anything out there?
Tom, did you go to CG board meeting?
Yes.
I saw you on the agenda,
Yeah,
and I was relieved because I couldn't make it to
Well, I
that
didn't
meeting.
need to stand in for you, but at least, if not every year, every 2 years, I just attend a historic preservation, planning and zoning, just to say three
Yeah.
things. Thank you for being on this organization. Think about if you want to aspire to this table, like some, well, we have done, many of us have done. And the third thing, I don't remember what the third thing was, but it's the same three
Thank you and
things.
good night.
Yeah.
It's a great group, and they've gotten some, they
Oh.
have some new members on the CDG board.
Take questions, any questions they have in the city that they have, that was the third thing. And sometimes there are no questions, and sometimes there are very good questions, so it's usually, it could be like 3 minutes. I mean, I don't want to bump into their agenda, but Lisa was very kind, and Joe was kind, and got to meet a few new members, yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully I didn't mess up your position there, so. Okay.
No, like I said, I was relieved because I couldn't make it.
Did that well. That covers council and committee reports, city administrator's report. Got comments from Chris. Welcome Stu back. Time out of the office. There's some meetings you got coming up.
I will likely be out of the office after Tuesday this week, trying to enjoy some time now that people are on board. And
You can breathe.
we told Marcia, or I told Marcia it was our turn. After December through March that we get to sneak out every once in a while now, so.
What little do you know?
Hope your office is still there when you get back.
I'm sure it'll be there, and what manner it's
I was
there
gonna
will be
say,
the
in
next
what-
question.
yeah.
The only other thing I have is huge shout out to Public Works staff for all the work that they did down here, and then to Meredith, who has the eye for what all of the things that were ordered through here. So it turned out very nice, even beat my expectations, and hopefully this chamber will keep us moving for years to come.
I think it's the first renovation since the building was built in '89.
Yeah, I'm already having a hard time remembering what it looked like, but then I look at that door and go, never mind. So, yeah, there will be some minor things. The cabinets still have to come in the kitchen area. Some of the doors will still get painted, but these are all minor and probably get done over the fall, winter, and indoor work.
Any other items that need to come before council meeting? I want to make sure that the minutes note that it's 7:18 on my watch, on my clock here, so we're about to do it for a shorter meeting. So,
Well, I know there were 2 people are gone.
oh, yeah. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.